Welcome to VSB News Online for Wednesday, July 8th. I'm Peter Kitzel. 3 men and a woman swam across the English Channel on Sunday in 4-hour relays in a successful attempt to raise over $25,000 for 4 Bermuda-linked charities, and organizer John Tomlinson is looking for at least a $30,000 total as the pledges are counted. Back in his Mills Creek office, none the worse for wear, the young businessman talked about the brave endeavor.
It was a much bigger event than I thought it might be, because I figured, 1 hour, 3 hours off, 1 hour doesn't seem very much. But the conditions were, at times, quite difficult. And starting the swim at 10 to 1 on a Sunday morning in the pitch black of night was interesting too.
How long did it take?
It took us 16 hours, just over 16 hours. So each one of us did swam for 4 hours, yes. And that was quite fitting in a way, and allowed everybody to make an equal contribution to the endeavour.
Is it like Everest? There's always somebody doing it?
There's always somebody doing it. There's lots and lots of people doing it. And despite that, it still gives you a sense of some satisfaction in terms of the achievement. It was substantially more demanding than I anticipated that it would be.
Jeff was very caustic before he went. How did he finish?
He finished with magnificent aplomb and good grace, and he was spectacular in his swimming technique, and he was very robust in how he managed the cold, which impacted him perhaps more than others because he is a very streamlined athlete with very little fat.
Any jellyfish?
There were substantial jellyfish. I missed most of them. A couple of my colleagues, Peter particularly, had some interesting run-ins, which stopped him short. And talking of Peter, he did have an opportunity to have his face mask almost ripped off when he hit a rather large wave from the result of a passing tanker.
And you think you may have raised 30,000?
I think already we may have raised 30,000, which is in excess of our goal of 25. I think we've raised a certain money, and the gates are still open in terms of further contribution. So if people feel it was a worthy endeavour and feel inclined to support with cash and credit cards, that would be nice. And there are options to do that through Premier Tickets or direct to the charity. And I think the charities were Cat Kids, Adara, both of those are supporting Nepal, YouthNet and SCARS. It was a definite team effort, a lot of support, and Chris Pittman from the UK and her support person who came was really instrumental.
Well done.
If voters were asked to vote on whether Bermuda should go independent, their answer would be a resounding no. This according to the latest poll by Profiles of Bermuda, which says more than 7 in 10 voters, 72.7%, oppose independence for Bermuda. That position has not changed since 2012, when it was 77%, or from 2014, when it was 71.9%. Profiles Managing Director Cordell Riley says the only significant difference by subgroups was for race. While both groups opposed independence, whites and others at 84.5% were strongly opposed to it than blacks, 67.2%. Black support for independence stood at 25.8%, while for whites and others it was 8.8%. If you thought there appeared to be an unusual number of cars being stolen in recent months, you'd be right. But the police have come up with some statistics that might surprise you even more.
In the first 6 months of 2015, the theft of some 295 vehicles have been reported to the police, of which only 30 have been recovered. So as the summer months are upon us, and with them a traditional increase in the number of such thefts, Police Inspector Robert Cardwell, responsible for the Road Policing Unit, would like you to know what to expect. First of all, the majority of all vehicle thefts are motorcycles, with the most frequently reported makes being the Yamaha Nuvo and the Honda Scoopy. But several motor cars have also been stolen, usually between the hours of 5 p.m. and 1 a.m. Police Inspector Carbo says that removing keys from the ignition is an obvious step for car owners, however long they intend to be away from their vehicles. Motorcycle owners should always use a secondary lock in addition to the handlebar lock. Brian Darby reporting for VSB News.
New National Trust President Tim Marshall has a number of issues that he intends to bring up during his 5-year term. For example, he is concerned at how Bermuda's beautiful bays have become crowded with moored pleasure craft, how little has been done to bury power cables underground, and how little planning has been undertaken to counteract climate change.
There's some issues that need to be discussed. For instance, we see that, for instance, there is a proliferation of moorings that have taken over some of our bays. In the last 10 years, for instance, if you looked at Ely's Harbor and what has happened there, that used to be pretty much a recreational sea park where there was sailing, rafts up, camping. In 10 short years, Brian, that has disappeared, and approximately 70 moorings has changed the whole use, I shouldn't say the whole use, but predominantly has changed the use of that very significant and beautiful bay. And we can change that, and we can do it in a way that accommodates the needs of people who are looking for moorings, but we can do it in a way that ensures that those beautiful bays that we have are being used for the majority of Bermudians and our tourists, rather than just people who need a place to park their boat. We need to talk about burying our transmission lines on the island. We've talked about it. It's always on the agenda, but we've got to move government and we've got to move Belco to make a concerted plan, a concerted schedule to bury our power lines. We've become complacent on that. We don't even look at them anymore. But if we open up our eyes, they are ugly. They reflect the past. They do not reflect a bright future. We must ensure that those lines on a scheduled basis are being buried under the road.
You have an interest in climate change because government doesn't seem to.
I think that any sophisticated community must have an interest in climate change. We are a sea level island, and it's going to come to our shores. So we must be knowledgeable about it, aware of it, and to the extent that we can help in terms of even educating the public on this and preparing down the road for its effects, we should, because it's going to come, particularly to the low-lying areas of Bermuda. It could be a problem that needs to be addressed.
It may not be widely known nor accepted that race factors into diseases that plague the human body. Nephrologist consultant to the Bermuda Hospitals Board, Dr. Raphael Lutaby, says in this second of a two-part interview that its impact need not deter those suffering with chronic kidney disease and other diseases, for that matter, from managing.
This is, you know what, each race has its share of disease to carry, and us, black, we have to carry kidney disease, but the native Indian will have more kidney disease than the African descent. It's just the way it is. Every human being carries a genetic background, and our genetic background makes us prone to have kidney disease.
So if we lived on an island and just ate vegetables and fruit, would we be safer?
It will be safer than eating McDonald's all day long, and probably. But I have to say that the westernization of the lifestyle, westernization of the diet, has contributed a large part to this explosion, this phenomenal explosion of chronic kidney disease.
Now, as a nephrologist consultant in Bermuda, do you see any light at the end of the tunnel with this disease?
Actually, I'm pretty optimistic because in Bermuda, the resources are there. And actually, we could use what has been done in other countries to decrease the incidence of the disease, and with prevention, screening and prevention and management, good management of chronic kidney disease. And after that, we will see the incidence will decrease. And actually, we have 3 nephrologists in Bermuda. We have a dialysis unit, and I think we have all the resources to be able to do that over the next few years.
And we'll be back with more news right after this.
In an effort to make Bermuda's roads safer, and in partnership with Bermuda Police Service and the Bermuda Road Safety Council, DeFon's Broadcasting is launching a safe driving campaign. Complete with thumb bands, come into DeFon's Broadcasting and 94 Reed Street and make the commitment to drive safer and slower for yourself. Your voice could be featured on the radio. Get yourself a thumb band as a reminder of your commitment to drive safer and with fewer distractions. While you're at it, why not get one for someone in your life who also needs a reminder that our roads do not discriminate. They can take anyone's life. Let's drive safe, Bermuda, and arrive alive. Peace and love. Safe journeys.
5 young Bermudians seeking to pursue their interest in the arts have shared this year's Bermuda Arts Council scholarship grants worth a total of $40,000. Minister of Cultural Affairs, Patricia Gordon-Pamplin, handed over the checks this morning and declared her government's determination to support young artists. Among the recipients were Miles Dill, a student at the Savannah College of Art and Design, who received $15,000, and Julia Frith Quinn, a student in the Performing Arts at Rose Bruford College, who gets $10,000.
I'd just like to thank the Bermuda Arts Council for this wonderful opportunity in times so economically turbulent as well as socially turbulent. Moving forward as an artist in an industry that's very misconceived is a very intimidating notion, especially coming from an island so small. This opportunity, I think, represents something very big, a lot bigger than me. How Bermuda is an international hub for business, I believe it can be an international hub for art. And I'm hoping more opportunities like this, especially an opportunity like this, gives me the wherewithal, the resolve, and the resources to do justice to everyone, and hopefully inspire others to follow in my footsteps, and hopefully, pass this opportunity on to others. And hopefully, in my success, I'll be able to help those along too.
This is an opportunity that not only allows myself to pursue the arts, but it allows a venue to be able to express yourself. It gives me the opportunity to go out and learn and to educate myself so then I can bring it back to my island and my home. And it creates the opportunity to place value on the arts, which is something that I think we are all working towards here. And in Bermuda, it's hard. The business industry is booming and the insurance is booming, but where are the artists? How do the artists become supported in this community? So this, I think, is one incredible way for that to happen. I would like to thank my family and my friends and everyone who was involved here for these incredible, incredible opportunities. And I know that as we go forward as artists in this world, this is a service. We're serving ourselves, we're serving our families, and we're serving our island through the work that we do.
Receiving $5,000 scholarships were music therapy student Haley Francis Cann, performing arts students Alexis Smith and Dejon Thomas, who will be dancing in the Pan American Games opening next week in Toronto. Montpelier Road in Devonshire was closed to traffic for around 2 hours yesterday evening, following a collision between a motorcycle and a pedal cycle at the junction with Happy Valley Road. The motorcyclist was treated on the scene by an attending ATC unit and then transferred to the King Edward Hospital for further treatment. The rider of the pedal cycle appeared to have escaped the collision without injury. He was a forensic and general adult psychiatrist in Sweden and now resides in Bermuda as the island's forensic psychiatrist. Dr. Marcel Westerlund has also written a book on the afterlife. Even though many in the scientific community shun life after death, considering such experiences impossible, he tells Charles Webb there is most certainly an afterlife.
Well, it started many, many years ago.
Give me the brief version.
The brief version. Well, we have some quite famous people who've been on the same path or are on the same path. Professor Brian Weiss in the US is one. There are others. My teacher, Michael Newton in California, is also quite well known worldwide, having written a couple of books. But this subject has been brought up over many, many, many years, so it's nothing new. Hypnotherapy has been used for as long as mankind been around. It was used already by the old Egyptians, so it's nothing new under the sun. What's new is that you actually use that as a tool to explore the great depth of the human mind, and to go beyond what you would normally call, your consciousness.
So I mean, are your findings biblically based, or are they related to the scriptures in any way?
No, I think you have to honor all people, whatever faith they have. This is not about being biblical. This is not about being priest. It's not about, preaching in church. This is about treating and helping people to overcome illness and suffering, and that is a path where you suddenly find that there's a whole new world beyond.
So what form does or if it's a body, what form does it take after life?
Energy.
So does it talk?
Of course,
drink?
Energy talks. You talk with your computer, is energy. You talk to your computer, you watch your iPhone. People are busy with their iPhones, and they watch pictures, they listen to messages, and that's all energy and light. And it's been digitalized so we can understand it. And a soul is nothing less than energy, but it's moving so fast that you can't see it.
So Dr. Westland, break this down for the great unwashed masses. When a person dies, what do you say to the people they leave behind?
Oh, I've come across that many times, and it's really important to comfort people, and we also need to grieve and remember the lost ones. But it does certainly help people to go on with their lives, actually more or less knowing or having a belief that maybe it's not over. That's why I honor all the churches and all the spiritual belief in Bermuda, because they do understand that deep down there's something more.
And now we turn to Earl Baisden with the latest from the sports desk.
St. George's Cricket Club President Neil Painter, in an interview today with VSB Sports, during a visit to the club to get an update on the proceedings of Cup Match, he announced who will captain the host during the 2015 Classic at the Wellington Oval.
Yes, for this year, 2015, Oliver Pitcher Jr., better known as OJ, will be skippering our team for this year's Cup Match. Arande was the skipper the last few years, and we feel that he done an excellent job. But the committee has decided to go with OJ Pitcher, and we wish not only Arande well, but definitely OJ Pitcher well as he takes over this role for this year.
Pitcher said it is indeed an honor to be asked to lead the club.
I was very surprised. We know there has been a rule going around, or saying going around, that St. George's tend to, stick with their own, and out of respect for them, I respect that. So for them to give me this opportunity, it really means a lot. They know I've been very dedicated to them for many years when it comes to Cup Match. So I just hope I can produce the good as a skipper, and we just get the right team on the field and take care of business.
Do you feel any more added pressure on yourself to perform?
No, I definitely don't feel the added pressure. I mean, as an athlete, you get used to the hypeness, the excitement. Yes, it is different being skipper in a big event like this, but at the same time, I've been World Cup, I played on the big stage, so it is another match. It's not, but it is at the same time, and I would just, continue to play the way I play all this time.
Tyrone Smith competed in the 2015 International Track and Field event in Italy yesterday. Smith won the men's long jump as he puts the final touches on his Pan American Games preparations with a top leap of 7.88 meters. Following the meet, Smith said, "After struggling, I closed out with a huge foul, which was a 2-centimeter foul. Got it measured before they raked it. It was an 8.27 meter attempt." Canada won by 1 run in the latest matches of the ICC Under-19 America's Division tournament going on right here in Bermuda. At the Somerset Cricket Club yesterday, Canada won the toss and elected to bat against the United States of America. They scored 241 all out in 48.1 overs. Muhammad Khan was their top scorer. He scored 68 runs off of 72 deliveries. He had 5 fours and 1 6. Harash Thacker was run out on 47. He and Khan put on a 113-run, 5th wicket partnership. Karan Patel was the pick of the United States of America bowlers, returning figures of 9.1 overs, 1 maiden, 4 for 40. In reply, it went right down to the wire as English-based cricketer Alexander Schoff was on 103 before he was run out with 4 balls to go and 1 run short of the United States target. Schoff and Sahil Patel put on a 10th wicket partnership of 48, but it came up 1 run short of tying the match. Khan was the pick of the Canadian bowlers with figures of 9 overs, 1 maiden, 3 for 52. Meanwhile, Kamal Levrock and his Newport Cricket Club Wales first 11 teammates suffered a 3-wicket defeat against Port Talbot Town Cricket Club. This match was in the South Wales Premier Division 1 League. Newport won the toss and elected to bat. They scored 281 for 4 in their allotted 50 overs. Levrock, batting at number 6, scored 42 not out off of 25 deliveries, hitting 5 fours and 1 6. In reply, Port Talbot Town scored 283 for 7 in 49.3 overs. Levrock returned figures of 10 overs, 2 for 50. Jordan Imadi, Micah Thomas Rayner, Adam Larson, Felix Cutler, Tate Stefanuk, Joe Arrowsmith, and Luke Medeiros all began representing Bermuda at the Optimus North Americans in Antigua. In the first races of the day in fleet racing, the Blue Fleet saw Larson finish 16th, with Medeiros finishing 32nd, and Marty finished 41st. Stefanuk finished 6th in the Red Fleet, while Cutler finished 8th. Arrowsmith crossed the line 11th in the Yellow Fleet, with Thomas Rayner finishing 18th. Overall, after 3 races, Stefanuk is 10th overall with 18 net points. Larson is in 39th with 47 points. Arrowsmith is in 43rd with 51 points. Cutler finished the day 74th overall with 79 net points, while Thomas Rayner is in 97th with 93 points. Medeiros has 124 net points and is in 132nd, and 1 spot back is Amadi with 125 net points. As of June 25th, Bermuda has 2 riders ranked in the top 5 in the Continental Under-23 global ranking. Bermuda National Road Race champion Dominique Mayo and Shaquan Richardson are on the list. Football's North American governing body announced yesterday that it has ended corporate ties with Traffic Sports USA, the marketing firm whose president was indicted on multiple counts in the FIFA corruption scandal. The Confederation of North, Central American, and Caribbean Football Associations, which make up CONCACAF, deal terminated with Traffic Sports includes the rights to the 2015, 2017, 2019, and 2021 Gold Cup tournaments and 7 seasons of CONCACAF Champions League from the 2015-16 season through to the 21st-22nd season. Traffic Sports was allowed to come to Bermuda and broadcast the Bermuda against Guatemala match on June 15th from the National Sports Center. VSB Sports had expressed concerns that a company whose president was indicted in the FIFA scandal would be allowed to enter into Bermuda. However, our concerns fell on deaf ears, and CONCACAF have taken the step to remove Traffic Sports. I'm Earl Basden reporting for VSB Sports.
Looking at the weather for Thursday, July 9th, there will be a mix of sun and cloud with 1 or 2 showers. Winds will be northwesterly and light, backing westerly overnight. The high will be near 85 Fahrenheit and the low near 78 Fahrenheit. This weather report is courtesy of the Bermuda Weather Service. Thank you for watching VSB News Online for Wednesday, July 8th. I'm Peter Kitzel.